Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to Training Bites. If you have any questions during the presentation, just put your questions in the chat window in the Ring Central toolbar, and I'll answer all your questions at the end of the session because we will have a Q&A at the end. My name is Gina Thomas. I am the training manager at C&K Systems and your hostess for Training Bites, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. So 2020 was really a tough year for a lot of people. And you probably noticed a lack of repeat customers. Sales were flat, if not down. And if you're trying to expand your marketing database, some customers are very leery about giving out their name and having you recorded into Counterpoint. Repeat business is key to maximizing sales, and it's essential for growth as well. And name capture is so very important for marketing purposes. Loyalty programs have been proven to boost growth. They also incentivize customers to return in the future, and loyalty programs make customers happy. So, today we're going to talk about loyalty and loyalty programs. And in this session, we're going to learn how to enable the loyalty settings. There are quite a few. How to define a loyalty program and define your earning and redemption rules, and also how to assign customers to a loyalty program. So, just kind of a 30,000-foot view. The loyalty program is already built into Counterpoint. You don't have to buy anything special or get licensed with anything special. The loyalty program in Counterpoint is very basic and very straightforward. It doesn't do anything fancy. You literally can set the program up to award customers points for purchases, and then customers can use those points for future purchases. So when I say it doesn't do anything fancy, I get a lot of questions about, well, when my customer reaches X amount of points, I'd like to graduate them automatically to another loyalty program. Does not do that. Or when my customer gets X amount of points, I want my receipt printer to print out a coupon for X amount of dollars. It does not do that. It literally just awards points for purchases, and then people can use those points for future purchases. So in order to enable the loyalty program, you need to go to Setup, Customer, Customer Control. You'll click on the Other tab, and you'll enable this statement, Use Loyalty Programs. And I'll show you all of this in the software when I'm done with the PowerPoint presentation. We also need a loyalty pay code so our customers can use their points to pay for purchases. So to set up a pay code, you need to go to Setup, System, Pay Codes. You'll just put a name on this pay code line right here, and you'll, got ahead of myself on that, and you'll use this drop down on the pay code type, and you'll actually select loyalty points. And then you have to assign an account number. Even if you don't integrate to a third-party general ledger, that's a required field, and the default account is 1011. Next, you need to tell the store or your stores that they're allowed to accept loyalty as a form of payment. That happens in Setup, Point of Sale, Stores. You'll call up a store, click on the Pay Code button, which will bring up this screen and show you your existing pay codes that you can accept at the store. So you'll click on the plus sign to add loyalty. And again, if you're multi-store, you'll need to do this for each store. Then you'll need a touchscreen button to press on your payment screen to accept points as a payment. That's in Setup, Point of Sale, Touchscreen Codes. You'll select an empty button. You'll use the action of pay code. You'll give it a caption, like rewards points. And then you'll come down here to the pay code line and select loyalty to connect to that button. Next, you want to tell your stations, your computers, to display a point redemption message. That way, when your associates are ringing up customers, if they select a loyalty customer, a message will display at the top of the screen that says, loyalty points are available. So you'll go to Setup, point of sale, stations, and then I just logically work through my stations by clicking on this right facing black arrow. And for each station, I'm going to come down here to this statement and I'm going to enable show point redemption message. Now that all of that is in place, now we're actually ready to set up the loyalty program. And that's under Setup, Customers, Loyalty Programs. You'll just give your loyalty program whatever name you like. I called mine Loyal 1. And then you'll give it a description. And then we'll talk about all of these settings when we get into the software, about all these individual settings over here and also the earning and redemption rules. Once you have your loyalty program set up, now you can attach loyalty programs to customer records. If it's a brand new customer, when you set up the customer and go to the Activity tab, you can just come down here to where it says Loyalty Program, go into this lookup and select the loyalty program. If it's an existing customer, this field is protected and locked. So you'll have to call up that existing customer. You'll have to click on the master lock icon up here, and that will open up this field so that you can actually do a lookup and select the loyalty program. You can also adjust loyalty points for customers, which is really nice. So under Customers, Loyalty Programs, Adjust Points. Maybe you have a customer that belongs to a loyalty program, but maybe they had an unhappy experience in the store. So you can actually adjust the rewards points up, or if you want to, you can adjust them down. And it's just kind of like inventory adjustments, except it's just a point adjustment. There's also a utility to test your loyalty points, and it's called a price test, which is kind of misleading because you would think, oh, that's only going to test prices. But that utility will also test your loyalty programs. So if you go to Inventory, Utilities, Price Test, you can select a customer, you can select an item, you would click on this Loyalty Program Outputs tab, and then click on Get Price, and Counterpoint will return how many points would be awarded to this customer for the item they purchased. So that's just a nice way to test it without going into point of sale. So with that being said, let's go into Counterpoint and let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is turn on the loyalty program. So that's Setup, Customers, Customer Control. I'm going to click on the Other tab, and this is the switch that needs to be enabled to turn on the loyalty program. And then I'm going to save. Next, I need to set up a pay code. Now, I already do have a pay code set up, but I'll show you what it's like to set one up from scratch. So I'm going to go to Setup, System, Pay Codes, and right here on this pay code line, I'm just going to type the name of the pay code. I'm just going to free type it. I'm just going to call it Loyal. Then I'm going to press my Enter key. I'm going to give it a description, and then the pay code type. I've got to use this drop down and choose loyalty points, and then my account, default account is 1011. Now when you're setting up a new pay code, this count reconcile switch for end of day automatically enables itself. I would uncheck this. Then when you're done, you'll save. Now next, I need to tell my store or stores that they're allowed to accept loyalty payments at point of sale. So I'm going to go to Setup, I'm going to go to Point of Sale, and I'm going to go to Stores. And that just takes a moment to load. So I'm just going to use my right-facing arrow and call up my first store, and that happens to be my bistro. I'm going to come over here to Pay Codes, and here's a list of pay codes this store is allowed to accept, but I want to add loyalty. So I'm going to go to the plus sign, I'm going to find loyalty, the pay code that I just created, and click OK. And now that loyalty pay code will be accepted at my bistro store. And again, if I have more than one store, I'm going to repeat this for all my stores. So I'd use the right facing arrow, call up my next store, go to pay codes, go to add, find loyalty with 1L, click OK, and now I've added loyalty to another store. And then don't forget to save. I also need to create a button in touchscreen so I can accept loyalty points as a payment. Now, I work with many people that have more than one touchscreen design. They might have different designs at different computers or different designs at different stores. So you need to know which designs need to be affected. And to do that, we're going to check a station setting to see what designs each computer is using. So if you go to Setup, Point of Sale, Stations, and again, I have multiple stations and multiple stores, so I'm just going to work through these logically by clicking on this right-facing black arrow. So that brings up my bistro, and you can see this particular workstation uses a touchscreen code called bistro. I'm going to use my right-facing arrow again. My East store uses a design called combo, and so does my station 2 at the East store. My main store also uses combo. So if I only want the loyalty points button, the payment button, to be at my main and East store, I'll just need to update the touchscreen design of combo. So I'm going to close out of here. I'm going to go to Setup, Point of Sale, Touchscreen Codes, and I'm just going to do a lookup for my combo. So there's my combo touchscreen design, and I'm going to click on Button Editor. When you're in touchscreen design, it's not like navigating in point of sale, where in point of sale, if you click on your pay or tender button, you go directly to the payment or tender screen. In the touchscreen designer, you have to navigate with arrows. So if I click on the pay button, this is the arrow, this right-facing arrow that will take me to the actual tender page. So I'm going to click on that. Now I've already configured a button here, but if this button were not here, I would click on a blank square. I would come to the action, use this drop down, choose pay code, come to this caption here to give the button a name. I called mine loyalty points. And then I'm going to come down here to pay code, and I'm going to select the loyalty pay code. And then you can also come up here to color, and you can change the color of the button, make it all nice and fancy. All right, and so now I'm just going to exit from there, save my changes, and then exit the designer. Next, I want to turn on that station message where when I select a loyalty customer, Counterpoint will display a message that there's points available. So I'm going to go back to Setup, Point of Sale, Stations, and again, I'm just going to work through these logically because I have multiple stores, multiple stations. I'm going to use the right-facing arrow and enable this statement down here that says Show Point Redemption Message. I will do that for each one of my stations and my stores. Okay, and then when I'm done, I'll exit. So now that I have all those pieces in place, I'm actually ready to set up my loyalty program. So I'm going to go to Setup, Customers, Loyalty Programs. Now I already have one set up here, but I'll show you what it's like just to set one up from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give my loyalty program a name, and it can be any name you like. You just free type what you want to call it, press your enter key, and give it a description. Okay, that's simple. Now that being said, I'm going to show you one that I already set up. So I just called it Loyal 1, Loyalty Program 1. Now in this box called Earning Points, what I did is I said the earning increment is a whole number of 1. Then there's a rounding method, and your choices are nearest increment, increase to next, decrease to previous. So here's what that means. If my customer spent $1.51, do I want Counterpoint to round up to 2 points, or do I want Counterpoint to round down to 1 point? Now, when I say nearest increment, if my customer spent $1.51, Counterpoint's going to round up to 2. If my customer spent $1.49, Counterpoint's going to round it down to 1. If I select increase to next, then no matter what my customer spends, $1.50, $1.02, $1.06, it's going to increase to 2. If I decrease to previous and my customer spent $1.56 or $1.02 or $1.06, it's going to decrease down to 1. The one I like the best is the nearest increment. I think it's the fairest, but that's up to you. Over here on the right, allow sale items. This speaks to price rules. So you can set up a price rule to automatically discount merchandise without anybody having to think about it. That's a price rule. So having this switch enabled will allow your customers to earn points on merchandise that's getting automatically discounted by a price rule. Allow on price overrides. This is when you're manually doing a price override on the fly at point of sale. Oh, it rang up $25, but it's a little damaged. I'm going to do a price override and sell it for $20. So enabling this switch will allow your customers to earn points on items where you're doing a manual price override. Earning rules. How are our customers going to earn points? So what I did is let me just get rid of this line so I can show you how I set that up. Goodbye. Go away, line. Okay. What I did is I set up one line here, one rule, and all I did to set it up is I came down here to the description, and I just gave it a description that makes sense to me, 1 point per dollar. And then I came down here to this field and I said 1 point per dollar. So for every dollar my customer spends, they get 1 point. You could also do it at the, it's an either or. You could do it at the stocking level. If I sold five, they get 5 points. I think it makes more sense for everyone just to do it at the dollar level. So 1 point per dollar is pretty standard. Down here in this section is my filter. Now my filter is completely blank, meaning no matter what customer, no matter what the loyalty customer purchases, they will get points for anything they purchase any day of the week. Now, if I want to limit that, I want to say they only earn points on certain merchandise, or they only earn points from merchandise from certain vendors, whatever the case may be. You can actually put that information here. Like I could say, oh, they only earn points if they buy something from Acme. Or I could go the opposite way. I could say, they earn points on everything except. So if I want to say they earn points on all merchandise except apparel, then I would need to modify this filter. I'm just going to right click, customize, and typically by default this item category is set to is exactly. Well, not that. Try that again. Is exactly. There it is. That's what this is typically set to. So if I want to exclude merchandise from earning points, I'm going to click on is exactly and say is not exactly. Now I'm going to I'm going to simplify the filter by right clicking. And I would say here, okay, they can earn points on everything as long as it's not apparel. So that's how you construct a filter to include or exclude what merchandise people can earn points when they buy. You can have more than one rule. So I like having a second rule for my slow days when I really need to drive business. My slow day is Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, I offer a 2 point Tuesdays. So on the description line, I'm just going to type 2 point Tuesday. And the points per dollar is going to be 2 points per dollar. And again, if I leave the item filter blank, it means no matter what the loyalty customer purchases, they will get 2 points for every dollar they spend. But I do want to limit when 2 Point Tuesday happens. So I'm going to come to sales and I'm going to choose the day of the week, Tuesday, and then I'm going to save. So now I have two rules. I have the 1 point per dollar, which is every day except Tuesday, and I have 2 Point Tuesday. You need to move the 2 Point Tuesday rule to the top of this screen. So I'm just going to highlight it. See, there's a little caret over here. And I'm going to move up. And now 2 Point Tuesday is the first rule. So on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Counterpoint says, oh, look, here's this rule 2 Point Tuesday, but it's not Tuesday. So let me go down to the next rule. Okay, so there's my next rule. Okay, so that is earning rules. Then we have redeeming points in this box down here. So you need to figure out a value per point. This is like a cash value per point. And what you define as a cash value per point really depends on your margins. If you make really razor thin margins, then usually you might want to do a value per point of 3 cents. If your margins are a bit healthier, in the 50, 60, 70% category, maybe you'll have a healthier value per point of 4 cents or 5 cents. I have 4 cents. Minimum points per ticket. In other words, if you're going to redeem your points, you have to redeem at least 50 points. I always leave mine at 0 because people get kind of mad with those kind of restrictions. Maximum points per ticket. You're only allowed to redeem 50 points per ticket. Again, I leave mine at unlimited because, again, those kind of restrictions make people a little mad. I always allow partial payment. I might have a loyalty customer that has a couple of hundred points, but they don't want to use them all. They want to use some of them and then just pay the balance with cash or credit card. So this will allow that. When it comes to this value per point, here's your takeaway on how much money you're giving away. If I say 4 cents per point, that means for every dollar my customer spends, they get 4 pennies. For every $100 they spend, they get $4. So the math is pretty simple there. Over here, allow point redemption for. Well, certainly we're going to allow it for merchandise. I would be reluctant to let my loyalty customers buy gift cards with points, so I would not check this. I also wouldn't want them to use their points to pay for taxes. I mean, because that's a bill I've got to pay, so I wouldn't check this. And the same with miscellaneous charges like shipping, gift wrap, alterations. I wouldn't allow customers to pay for those charges with points, but that's up to you. Now we have our redemption rules, and it's going to look a lot like earning rules. I still have to give it a description. I called mine uses cash and call yours whatever you like. My filters are blank. So when my customers redeem their points, they can redeem their points for any merchandise in my store any day of the week. Now, if I want to restrict that and say, you can only redeem points for certain categories or anything except a category or a vendor, you'll need to modify this filter. So if I right click and customize, typically this item category is set to is exactly, and that's the default. So I might say, you know what, you can spend your points on anything except apparel. So I would just click on it is exactly and make it is not exactly, simplify my filter, and then choose the category that's excluded for using points to pay for the merchandise. If you only want redemptions to happen certain days of the week, you can also leverage the filter for that purpose as well. I only allow point redemptions on the weekends or on Tuesdays, whatever the case may be. I'm going to save. Now, down here, earning while redeeming. So I have some people that say, you know what, if I have a loyalty customer that's redeeming points, I don't want them to earn extra points while they're redeeming. So if they're redeeming points, you don't get to earn points. Again, it's a restriction that tends to make people a little mad, so I usually don't turn that on. What I usually do is I say reduce for redemptions, meaning if my customer spends $100 and they use $10 worth of loyalty points, they will only earn points on the $90. So they can't double dip. In order for that to work out properly, whatever value you have here needs to be repeated here. So you just duplicate that value. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Next, I want to attach customers to a loyalty program now that I have the program set up. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to customers. Again, if it's a new customer, this is new customer, I can simply come to the activity tab, go to the loyalty program lookup, and select the loyalty program. That easy. Now, if it's an existing customer, so let's do Bill Barker here. Bill Barker is an existing customer. Oh, he's already attached to a loyalty program. Let me select somebody else. Let's select Brian Sheridan. Okay. Now, Brian Sheridan is an existing customer, and you'll notice the loyalty program field is protected. It's grayed out. I can't get into it. So because I'm a system administrator, I have this cool unlock icon on my toolbar. So I'm going to click on the unlock field, and now my loyalty program field is unlocked. And now I can select the loyalty program and save. Yes, I know it's mad about my AR customers here. There you go. Now you're not mad anymore. Now you might have a lot of customers, existing customers, and you want to attach them to a loyalty program. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do that so you don't have to touch each record one by one by flipping through them, one at a time, unlocking the field and updating that loyalty field. When you go to customers, click on the table view. And then you're going to go into your column designer and you're going to add the loyalty program column to this view. So you need to right click somewhere where there's data. You can't right click over here because there's no data. So right click, column designer. I'm just going to click on one of these elements and type an L on my keyboard. And I'm going to scroll down here to loyalty because it only sees the first letter. So I got to scroll to the LOY, loyalty program. So here it is. I'm just going to double click on it, or you could just highlight it and click on add. Either one is fine. And I'm going to click OK. So you can see I have several customers that don't belong to a loyalty program. Now remember, I have to unlock the field. So if the master lock is locked, you've got to unlock it. And then you can copy paste. So you can highlight an existing one, and you can right click and copy. Whoop. Oh, come on back here. Now I have to re-add the column, but that's okay. It's good practice. Right click, column designer, loyalty. There it is. Double click. Okay. So I can click here and right click and copy, or I can do Control C on my keyboard, and then I can click into a blank field and paste. Oh, unlock my field, or I can right click paste, or I can do Control V as in victory. That's one way. You can also do a bulk copy and paste, and a bulk copy and paste in Counterpoint is a little bit backwards. So when you bulk copy and paste, you have to start on something that you want to change. Let me get out of here. It's mad at me. Okay. You start on something you want to change. In this example, I want to change this particular person to have the loyalty program because they don't. So you start with what you want to change. Hold down your shift key, up arrow. See how it's putting little dots in the margin over here? And then you stop with the value you want to change it to. So in this case, I want to change all these blank records to have the Loyal One program. I'm going to come up here to the very top of the column. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy values. And then it will copy all those values. But again, I've got something going on with my AR statements that it's mad at me. Now, you might have thousands of customers, and you might say, well, that's great that I can do a bulk copy and paste, but I have thousands of customers. That's going to take me hours and hours and hours to do. If it's as simple as I have one loyalty program, I just want you to assign the loyalty program to my thousands of customers, log a support ticket. It's covered under your support plan as long as it's nice and straightforward. Now, if you have a situation where you have multiple loyalty programs, because different people earn differently, I've got my gold loyalty, I've got my platinum loyalty, and you need to have, you know, groupings of customers assigned to one loyalty program, another group assigned to another loyalty program, that's not covered by support because that's going to take a lot of time. But if it's just one loyalty program attached to my thousands of customer records, easy, 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 covered under support. Okay, so that's attaching a support plan or a loyalty plan to a customer. Okay. You can test your loyalty program without going into point of sale. If you go to inventory and you go to prices, and then you go to utilities, and then you come here to the price test. This is where we usually go to test our price rules, but we can also test our loyalty here. So I'm going to select a customer, and let's go ahead and select, I think I got Kenneth in here. Yeah, let's select Kenneth. So I'm going to say OK, and now I'm going to select an item, and here's a $500 item. This is, before taxes. And then I'm going to come to this tab called Loyalty Program Outputs. And then I'm going to click on Get Price. So you can see if you look down here at the bottom, Counterpoint checked two rules. It looked at 2 Point Tuesday, and today's not Tuesday. So the points earned for this $500 item are 500 points. So that loyalty program is working just beautifully. Now at point of sale, so I'm just going to go to point of sale and tickets and touchscreen. And I'm just going to go ahead and sign in. Spinny circle of waiting. Okay, so I'm going to select my customer. Now here's what I would do if you're using a loyalty program. When you go into a customer lookup, by default, their loyalty points balance is not here. I would add it just for ease. So if somebody says, hey, do I have any loyalty points? As soon as your associates go into a lookup, they'll be able to even say, hey, Ken, did you know you had 3,400 loyalty points? Oh, my goodness, that's great. In order to add this column to this screen, you're going to right-click anywhere where there's data. You're going to go to Column Designer. I'm just going to click on one element and type an L on my keyboard. I'm going to scroll down to Loyalty Points Balance. There's a lot of L's in here. And then I will find the Loyalty Points Balance, which would typically be over here. Come on. And I'm going to just highlight it and double click on it, or highlight it and click on Add, and then click OK. When you go into the Column Designer, whatever you do, it is temporary unless you save it. So once you add the column to this lookup, you want to save it as the default, and it will become the default lookup for everyone in the organization. So to save this as the default, you're going to go to Options, Save As. It'll automatically come up and suggest the default. You'll just say OK, and then you'll overwrite the existing default by saying yes. And now, anytime anyone in the organization at point of sale goes into the customer lookup, they will automatically see the customer's point balance. So let's go ahead and select Ken, and let's sell him an item. We'll go ahead and sell that same item. So you can see, the item before taxes is $500, and you can also see there's a little message up here. Loyalty points are available for redemption. Yay. So I'm going to go to the payment screen. I'm going to go to loyalty points, and Counterpoint's pretty clever. It's saying, well, I see Ken has 3,444 points. That's worth $137.76, and that's what I'm going to suggest to you. But Ken might say, you know what? I don't want to use up all 3,444 points. I just want to use 1,000. So if you just type 1,000 here, you can see that Counterpoint's doing the math. Oh, 1,000 points times 4 cents a point equals $40. So therefore, you're going to get $40 off this transaction, which is fantastic. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to pay the balance in cash or credit. Doesn't matter. And the ticket's complete. Now, here's a beautiful thing about this loyalty program. When your customer gets their receipt, they're going to see how many points they earned for this transaction, which was 460. That's, the difference between the 500 and the $40. They redeemed 1,000, and their current balance is 2904. So pretty nice. Now, I had mentioned during the PowerPoint presentation that you can also adjust points for customers, upward or downward adjustments. So if I go to customers, loyalty programs, adjust points, loyalty points enter. I'm going to find my customer, Kenneth. There he is. I'm going to press my enter key twice. And you can see over here on the right, it shows me the current balance. And notice how that balance, at point of sale, it updated immediately, and that's even before we post our sales at the end of the night. So that's really a nice feature. If I want to give Ken points, let's say I want to give him 100 points, I type 100 here, and you can see the new point balance will be this amount when I'm done posting. You have to post. That's really important. You got to post the adjustments. If I need to do a downward adjustment, then I need a minus sign and my downward adjustment. And you can see here when I'm done posting, his new balance will be 2,804. But I'm not going to do that to poor Ken. I'm just going to give him 100 points. And then I'm going to post. And I don't need to look at that report. But now when I go to Ken's customer record, customers, and let's find Ken. There he is. I'm just going to go to the activity tab, and I can see his loyalty points balance updated immediately, which is very nice about the loyalty program. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation and view from current slide. So your takeaway today, you should know now how to enable the various settings to get the loyalty program, functional. You should know how to set up a loyalty program and define your earning and redemption rules, and know how to tender loyalty points and manually adjust points. So, of course, I always appreciate your feedback and any topic suggestions. You will get a survey with your video when it's released. You can remain anonymous. You don't have to put your name on it. Or you can go directly to our website and fill out the survey there. It's just 2 or 3 questions. Pretty easy. Next month is going to be fun. We're going to talk about touchscreen designing and how to maximize your touchscreens to make selling more efficient. Like maybe doing menu-driven selling where you connect buttons to items that you frequently sell, or creating additional pages because you have so many buttons that you frequently sell, you need more than one page. And also how to do something called a run page, which that's a pretty cool feature. Run pages will execute multiple tasks with the touch of one button. So make sure you sign up for that. And with that, I will check the chat and see if I have any questions. I do not have any questions. I'll just give you a minute in case you do have a question for me. Okay, I do not have any questions. Well, I thank you for your time. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. I hope everyone has a fabulous year. And again, if you have any questions, you can either log a support ticket or email me at training. Okay, everyone, have a great afternoon. Take care.